Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. We have a lot to talk about today. We have some big Star Wars news, some analysis to do. If you're new to our channel, this is Girls with Sabers. My name is Emerus, and my co-host and friend, Luthien.
Oh, that's me. Hi. Hi, everyone. Sorry, it's been a long week. But thanks for joining us. Smash the like button. Tell all your friends. Come on in here. It's going to be an hour or so of good times.
Yeah, and tell your Ben Solo friends because there's Ben Solo in this novel, actually, and
yeah, we're gonna connect some dots, y'all.
Yeah,
we're gonna connect it.
There's some possible through interpretation. There's some possible dyad information in this.
Yeah,
and hope for Ben Solo's resurrection in this. So it's gonna be a trip. So come on in. I will say this is going to be spoiler heavy for Shadows of the Sith.
Yes.
So if you don't want a 1,000-page book to be spoiled, then this is not the stream for you.
Yeah. Bye. Yep. Bye. Spoiler heavy. If you wanted to read this book and not know about it, this ain't the stream for you. But you can definitely read it and listen back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give every plot detail because it's 1,000 pages. It's over 1,000 pages. So that we don't have time for that.
It's a little lengthy.
But
a little lengthy.
We're just gonna hit some marks on it. So I'm not gonna give you a full summary. Just to draw some conclusions, give some perspective. We also are going to talk about Reva's original ending for Reva. Why do I say Reva? I need it. Reva.
Like Uba, Reva.
Well, I think of Reva because I'm Southern. I think of Reva McEntire.
There you go. If you got to think of Reva McEntire, you got to do what you got to do.
But yeah, we're going to discuss the directors or the writers' original idea for that character, and it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yes.
So, Lou, what do you want to start first? Do you want to start with Reva, or do you want to start with Shadows of the Sith?
Let's do Shadows of the Sith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deep breath, deep breath. Oh, I just referred to myself in the third person. What is wrong with me? Okay.
It's all right.
I think a lot of the EU fans will like this novel. I think you could tell that Adam Christopher, the author, is a EU stand. Because you see Luke in his full Jedi mastery. I mean, he's dealing with acolytes and holocrons and beast below the surface and a lot of darkness, but he also has the temperament of Luke in Return of the Jedi. So I think if you needed some healing from The Last Jedi, if Luke of The Last Jedi was not your cup of tea, this is the book for you. But it also has some good things for us other folks.
Yes.
It's written from a male perspective of the world.
Yes, it is.
So it is very it's very focused on that. I will say he's a good author. His forte, in my opinion, is of the horror realm. He writes very well about the world of the Sith and paints that imagery and those action scenes and the occultic behavior very, very well. So I
From the stuff I read and some things you sent me, he's very descriptive. Like he's making a point to describe certain scenes so you can really get a visual sense of what is happening. Even down to like just little descriptive things, running a hand through hair, or this and that, and in some ways that can get pretty annoying, but it made sense to his writing style. Like he's just really trying to paint the picture, which I thought he did a good job doing.
He did a great job of it. Especially action scenes. Action scenes are hard for me to read. I much rather watch them because action scenes are rather tedious in detail. But he was a very vivid writer when it came to this detail. Getting right into Rey's parents, which is heavily featured in this. Rey's dad did not have a name. When he was quote unquote born, he was called the Abomination because he did not have the force powers that his father and the occultists wanted him to have. So he pretty much grew up being told repeatedly that he was a disappointment. And to hear the spells and the history and every dark aspect of the cultic world, he was locked in there as a child and grew up in that world. There was a man named Dathan who helped him, who was a quote-unquote friend, and would hook him up to the learning machine so he could understand the world of the Sith. And that man gave him the ability to escape. The only reason Sidious allowed the Abomination to continue is because he wanted a child. He wanted him to give birth to a child so he could form a dyad with her or him. So the Abomination named himself after the man that helped him escape, which was named Dathan. Dathan ran away, of course, and he met Rey's mother, Miramir. And I will say at first, I was very kind of critical about how Miramir was written, because Dathan went on and on about how talented she was. She was an incredible flyer. She could repair every droid, da-da-da-da-da. But then I realized that for a man who grew up in such darkness, for a person, Miramir is the first person who showed him any love or approval and acceptance. She was basically his light. So no wonder he sees her as this goddess figure, because he knew no love until her.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you explain Miramir to me, and then I read those passages, I'm like, oh, if anyone's gonna blame anyone for being a Mary Sue, like, blame Miramir. Yeah. Like, she reads like a Mary Sue completely. But again, we're reading Miramir from the point of view of Dathan.
Yeah.
And he is... It's almost like it's a Little Prince and the Pauper, where he sees all these things. He's lived in darkness. He's been called the Abomination, even though he's like, quasi royalty. Like, he has been sheltered. He has been, has not seen any of the things that Miramir does, and yet she does them. And he's blown away by her, everything she does. And of course, he would hold her up on this pedestal and describe her as perfect because to him, she is.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it took me sitting and kind of thinking about why did the author write it this way? And upon further reflection, I definitely agree with you. It is because he put her, Dathan put her there. He
Yeah.
put her up on this pedestal to Dathan. Mir was his goddess.
Right. It
Yeah.
reminds me a lot of Finn. You know, when Finn broke
Yeah.
free from the stormtrooper, and Rey was the first person that he connected with. Um, of course, that's a different relationship, but I could argue that Dathan and Miramir's relationship is a tad unhealthy because of that perspective, but still, I think that's what we're seeing. But the negative side of that is we don't get to know, in my opinion, Miramir and how she thinks and operates because she is seeing it. We are seeing it through her husband's perspective. Now she's very clever, and like I said, she can do basically what Rey can. She can fly. She can repair droids. She's very intelligent. She's optimistic, and
Mm-hmm.
she smiles through all harsh circumstances, and that encourages Dathan, who's very pessimistic. So, yeah, you can see a lot of parallels. You also have um, another Luke parallel. The reason Dathan and Miramir sent her to Jakku is because that was the first life they tried to live together, they formed together. They originally moved to Jakku to start a moisture farm. you know,
Oh,
just
real quick, Joseph Michael with a super chat. Thank you so much. Emil Blonsky is Ray's dad? No way.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
For those who, thank you so much for the super chat, Joe. For those who don't know, Emil Blonsky is a character in Marvel. Hulk, he was known as the Abomination because he was injected and became a super soldier, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he was known as the Abomination.
yeah.
And it's kind of funny because, like, facial structure, yeah, he kind of looks like the actor who played Dathan. But no matter, point being, I think it's funny. And thank you so much for the super chat, Joe.
Okay, okay. We're gonna get to quotes in just a
Yeah.
second. Let's see. Make sure that did I in my excitement get move anything? Okay, yeah. Um, so the I think the weak points of this novel are the poor author was written into a corner
Yes.
to explain the phrase, we sold you to protect you, or they sold you to protect you. So the this is what happened. Since they had their first homestead on Jakku, they knew Uncle Plutt because Ray's mom would sell things to Uncle Plutt, and she knew him as a very strict businessman who was neutral and would not, if Sith hunters came his way, he would not give any indication that Rey, who Rey was.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide that they're going to leave Rey on Jakku so they can find a safe place to bring her to, and take her to Uncle Plutt as a way of a way of keeping her protected.
It's a real interesting avenue to go down. Obviously, he has creative license, but also Lucasfilm has to sign off on this. We've gone down the roads on Rey Nobody, Rey Kenobi, blah blah blah, how they could work. It's so unnecessary. And I'm not saying that this book wasn't good. I'm not saying that the author sucks. I'm not saying that no one can like what Star Wars is putting out or like can't like this book. Not what I'm saying at all. I just feel that and I know I said it over 4 years ago where I could see a scenario where Kylo thought your parents were drunks, they sold you, blah blah blah. And then I sat here and I said, I can see a scenario where that they had to make it look like they sold her, or they gave her to people who they trusted but they sold her. I don't know. Like, point being, it's so sloppy. I think it's so careless of the studio and Lucasfilm to take a character like Rey and give her such a backstory where she had loving parents. And to me, in my opinion, they just retconned even like themselves deeper into this kind of weird hole. Like,
yeah.
So, they sold you to protect you. Well, that whole line is like vomit.
Yep.
And obviously in the book, Mir says, or they make reference that Unkar will not do this for free. He will want money. So technically, but it's only temporary, but technically they're selling Rey to Unkar. Plus, it's sloppy. It is really, really sloppy. They literally could have, I mean, and I'm not tooting my own horn here, but it would have made it less sloppy. They literally could have given her to people they thought they could trust and made it seem like they were trustworthy. Like literally an Annie situation here.
Right.
And then they sold her to Unkar Plutt because they were drunks. Like, it's that simple. Occam's razor. Like, but no, in my opinion, this is just so sloppy. Like, they're trying to explain. It's like these loving parents. Now, this is the only option they thought they had. Like, I don't know. It's sloppy. Sloppy.
They thought because if Unkar saw Rey as his property, he would protect her. If he didn't see her as his property, he wouldn't protect her.
Right. Right.
So it's like, like, I understand where they're trying to go, but I feel like it's better if we just leave it alone.
It feels like they did have a plan.
Yeah.
It feels like they had a couple plans that actually really could have shaken out really well. And then all of a sudden, the jar was shaken and everything cracked and exploded. And then shit went sideways. And now they're trying to piece together some semblance of trust to make things kind of make sense. But I feel like they're doing it the best way they know how to make it okay. So then there's some type of freaking closure and then they can move forward.
Well, they also had to explain why Luke and Leia knew Rey was a Palpatine, because that came out of nowhere too. So it came out of nowhere because it wasn't planned. And even then, Rey Palpatine wasn't decided within like 2 months of the movie's release. They kept on going back and forth of who Rey was. Daisy says that. Like at first they thought she was a Palpatine, then she was something else, then she was something else, while the Rise of Skywalker was being made. So I don't like this part of the book, but Adam Christopher, the author, is trying to do his best to explain a very horrible situation that they put the story team in. Like, what can you do? What can you do when you're given puzzle pieces that do not fit together?
I'm throwing this out there. The majority, not everyone, hear my words. The majority, not everyone, the majority of creators who were saying, oh, I think Rey's going to be a Palpatine before Tross came out, got insider information and were passing off it as their own idea.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. Rey's a Palpatine. Give me a break. And for people who said, oh, I called it, no. You got insider shit because everything was dropping on Reddit, and you heard it even before things were dropping on Reddit because, like, it was being passed around like, you know, things I can't say because we'll get demonetized. But anyway, point being, like, it's insanity. It's a storyline that would make no sense. It made no sense. So it's just creators passing it off as, oh, I thought of that. Bullshit. No, you didn't. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Well,
Em's already gone through her stages of like kind of irritation and anger, and like good things and bad things about this book. I obviously have not, and I'm in the anger stage. So everyone gets to go on that ride with me right now. Sorry.
Well, and I never sell your child to someone you only have an impression of. Like that you used to sell John
how about
to.
we don't sell children, period?
I mean,
don't sell your child, period. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
I mean, Uncle Plett, like, when Rey was out of line, according to the Force Awakens visual dictionary, like, he would send his men to beat her up. And, of course, Jesse makes an awesome point right here that they had Rey's survival book to go to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that canon was available to them. You know, that's what the story team is there for. But of course, JJ fired the story team, and that's why we have this mess. So the reason that Ochi was on Pisana, because that's another whole plot right here. It's a major plot, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to waste time. But Ochi is trying to chase down and get Rey for Sidious, blah blah blah. So when Mir sells Rey in Uncle Plett's store, she notices that he has Aki beads from Pisana. No, remember that from the Rise of Skywalker?
Yes, Rey fertility beads.
Okay, so she buys them, and so she has them, and so Ochi sees them and thinks, oh, you know, we had that dialogue of Mir saying, she's not on Jakku. And you're like, why would you say that, woman, in the book? But she has those beads. And so Ochi's like, ooh, those beads are from Pisana. Ha ha ha. I know exactly where to go now. Your child is in Pisana. So she leads him away. And that's why Ochi and his ship and the Sith blade and et cetera, et cetera. That's why it's all on Pisana. It's because Rey's mother led Ochi there.
Wonderful.
Ta-da. So, okay. Breathe and
just
breathe.
Take a deep breath, Em. We're getting through it.
All right. Okay, so the Ben Solo stuff, we're gonna read these excerpts because they were just a breath of fresh air. And after that mess of talking about Mir and Dathan, I just
real quick, how were the Luke and Lando things?
Hey, y'all. Hey, dude. Lando is like, I'm aging. Oh man, I've got to write my new excerpt of the
Calrissian Chronicles.
Chronicles, and because I better record them instead of video record them because I'm not as handsome as I used to be, and I don't know. It's just like buddy. It's just two buddies, and that's fine. It's just
So it's like buddy cop. It's
yeah.
It's two buddies, male perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's
there's nothing
fun.
wrong.
It's yeah.
And Lando is Lando. I liked the reason that he goes on this quest is, of course, he loses his daughter.
Yeah.
And he hears about another family that's about to lose theirs.
Uh-huh.
So it's softening Lando, and it's nice to see how he has aged to a more self-reflective man.
Uh-huh.
Who his there's a really sweet passage with he and his daughter playing in his capes and her dressing up in them and stuff like that. So it's really sweet seeing Lando as the father figure and wanting his child back. So that was the highlight for me reading the Lando selections.
Okay.
There's no Uncle Wanwo though. I'm like, you don't even like Lando doesn't even ask about Ben. That's a travesty.
It sure is. It sure is. So, all right. Speaking of Ben. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay. You didn't. Go for it.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to say, speaking of Ben.
Basically, what is so sad about Ben in these chapters is that he's just a gangly, awkward teen who just wants friendship with his uncle, and his uncle keeps on pushing him aside, going, no, you can't call me Uncle Luke. No, you have to call me by Master Skywalker. And Ben keeps on wanting to have a friendship with him. He wants to help him with whatever he asks Luke, next time you go on a quest, would you bring me? And and Luke keeps him an arm length. Now, does Luke want to do that? No, but it's just his idea of there's no attachment in the Jedi. There's no attachment in the Jedi. And you see this poor little kid just hunger for a relationship, but the stupid Jedi code keeps him from it.
Yeah, I think what's great about what the author did here, and I don't think it was putting Luke up on a pedestal from my point of view. I think the author was trying to showcase how much Luke wanted this idolized version of the Jedi to be. Like, he wanted to bring the Jedi back to what they used to be, and this is the way. Like, there no relationships, no this, no that. Like, that makes sense. That made sense to Luke, and he tried his darndest to stay on that path. Obviously, it was a big detriment, but from Ben's perspective, and I'm going to read some of the highlighted stuff here, it really shows you how necessary attachment was and how important it would have been. And I see Luke going, he didn't want to show like nepotism and favoritism and all that. But there's also moments where he couldn't help himself to kind of fall back into the loving uncle role too, because Ben made that a little bit easy. But some of the things Em highlighted, family ties. Luke told himself to go easy, but not just because his Padawan was his nephew. Far from it. Family ties had little to do with the teachings of the Jedi Order that Luke had worked hard to reestablish. detachment and distance were required for the pure focus the Jedi constantly strove to achieve. And for Luke, there was a simple satisfaction in adhering to those tenets. It's what I said before. The author is really showing us that as much as people love Luke, and idolized him, put him up on this pedestal of badassery and Luke Skywalker. Well, he's a man. He's a man, just like a lot of people in this galaxy, and he makes mistakes, and he can get it wrong.
So I love this phrase at the very bottom. It was a beautiful flower.
Luke, speaking of Ben's power.
Yeah, it was a beautiful flower growing inside him, waiting to blossom into something wonderful. So, of course, he talks about him being a Skywalker. And Laura Teca is in constant communication with Luke regarding artifacts. So there's a lot of, I think, I highlighted it in pink, but Laura Teca kind of kept Ben at a distance. And I understand why. He's an adult talking to Luke, who's an adult, and they have a mission and blah, blah, and he's just a Padawan. But Ben so wants to be part of the whole thing that there's a suspicion, and I think Ben is seeing Laura Teca as someone who is keeping him from his uncle and from being involved in the Jedi. And so I think some of this animosity is starting here.
Well, it's also Ben is a teenager, and when we're all teenagers, we're like, why can't I be included in adult conversations? Exactly. Why can't I listen? You're telling me to go and teach the younger Padawans and go through their lessons and everything. Why can't I hear what's going on here? Plus, if Luke has already taken Ben on certain missions, and they've did the whole Knights of Ren and blah blah blah, it's like Ben's already like, well, I've proven myself in certain things. Why can't I listen? Why can't I do this? Another thing that struck me, and you highlighted it in the top left corner, sometimes Luke thought Ben would one day be as powerful as he was. The Skywalker legacy ran deep. So the rise of Skywalker, like Ben Solo is a Skywalker. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Lor San Tekka even said it in The Force Awakens. You can not hide the truth that is your family.
Right. And that's what I was saying. The first time we see Kylo Ren is he strikes down and kills Lor San Tekka.
Yeah.
So you have this old man who would keep him from knowing and being an active part, who belittled him in his youth.
Yes.
So in many ways, Kylo Ren, even in The Force Awakens, is stuck in that adolescent development of I gotta prove myself.
Yeah.
Where here's a guy who wouldn't let him prove himself, so let's cut him down, So, and that's why I was talking about this animosity that is forming.
Now, in this regard, sorry to interrupt you. In this regard, I don't like that Kylo killed Lor San Tekka. I know why he did it, especially in front of his troops. Totally understand that. This gives weight to some of the why.
Yeah, exactly.
In a good way, if that makes sense. Like it's not retconning anything. It is adding substance to why Kylo did what he did, and it made him striking Lor San Tekka down a little more personal.
Yeah, and that's what I was
Yeah,
trying to say.
Yeah, I'm just like adding to that.
But that I felt that was very interesting because Lord Santeca is kind of like a leader of the Church of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a religious leader that stands for something that Ben was trying to abolish. So it was just interesting to me. This is at the end of the novel almost, where Luke comes back and Ben again tries to talk to him, and there's some really cute a passage. I hope I highlighted it. Yes, right here. If you want to read that, Lou, I would appreciate it in blue.
Okay. Ben nodded, pushing his black hair out of his eyes. Luke wondered if he should have insisted his Padawan cut his hair in their traditional manner, but it was a little late for that kind of decision. Ben Solo was becoming a fine apprentice, regardless of how messy he liked to keep his hair.
I thought that was so nice of Luke, though, because he noticed that was part of Ben's individualism.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a part of Luke that will break those tenets and did it for his nephew because he knew his hair was so part of who Ben was. It's like a reflection of Ben. It's a wild, messy thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, this next highlighted part really just proves both our sentiments about how Ben viewed himself in this relationship. Ben turned to leave, then stopped and turned back. Just let me know if I can help, okay? I might not be a Jedi Knight, but I am stronger than you think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he's a very sweet young man in this.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to see it. It was really nice to see their relationship. I know that they had a strong bond before the Jedi temple burning and Sidious destroyed everything. So I really did like those passages very much. Another thing, and this is the dyad understanding, or the Sith, better phrased, the Sith trying to form a dyad. If you haven't read the book Secrets of the Sith, the dyad is a prophecy, and Sidious keeps on trying to form a dyad, first with Anakin, then he realized it's not Anakin, and so that's why he's waiting for Rey, because he wants to create a dyad with Rey, because then he will have eternal life and usher in a new era, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of wink winks to, or not wink winks, like literal statements that in the Sith lore,
it's like wink
is about eternal life. I mean, it says so right there.
Or to one place in particular. The collection catalog was vague, but what Luke deciphered matched up with other texts. There were, according to his research, only ever 2 wayfinders in existence. The path they contained too secret, too dangerous for any but the Sith Lord and their apprentice to know. The path to the hidden world of the Sith, a place of power, and also, according to an ancient scribe, Cly, the elder, of eternal life.
Eternal life.
Of eternal life.
The path to the hidden world of the Sith, a place of power, and also a place of eternal life. Going on for that, there is a whole plot, and I thought this was a really interesting plot, where there is an acolyte, and this acolyte finds a mask that was belonging to a Sith Lord of ancient history called Noctis. And in that mask, it's very much like a Lord of the Rings One Ring type of thing, Lou. it is it is like it it acts just like the One Ring. You put on the mask and you think the mask is going to give you power, but what it does is like it's a it destroys you. And so there is a lady who puts on the mask, and she thinks if she takes this mask to Exegol, it will bring her healing and form like this almost like a dyad parallel. So I'm sorry, I did not summarize that very well. Forgive me, but Luke confronts her, and this is what he says to her. And again, it's that repetition of Exegol is a place of eternal life. And also look at the geometry statement she has.
Yep, Kiza swayed a little on her feet. Luke lowered his outstretched hand and watched her. Had she even heard what he was saying? Quote, "He has promised to take me there. He has promised me I will be healed. Rebirth. Glorious rebirth." Where, Kiza? At this, her eyes snapped up to his, her focus suddenly laser sharp. To Exegol. To the place of rebirth. Both for him and for me. "There is nothing for you on Exegol. He promised me. The geometrics of power can show the path, the parts connected to the whole, and together they can seek them out and be one."
Yeah. Rebirth. Glorious rebirth. He promised. Yeah. So I think that sounds like the Virgin scatter that is on Exegol, according to the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary.
Yep. When M showed me this passage, I did play devil's advocate a little bit. Obviously, it could be, well, of course, the mask or Exim is going to say all these things to Kiza just to get her there, so he can have eternal life, and she'll probably die.
Exactly.
He could say all these things. Well, he promised me the power of the path. It's all connected. Blah blah blah. Okay, well, yeah, it's the snake in the garden. It is Snoke or Sidious in Ben's ear since birth. Like, I get it all. But
Yeah.
why use those words and to continue to say them? Rebirth. It's said 3 times. And of course, in the visual dictionary, like M said, Exegol is over a Virgin scatter. Like, the fact that Ben, okay, I said it to M too, and I've said it before in live streams. The Sith bastardize the
Exactly.
Force. They just, and it's an allegory of God creates life. Well, Satan can't create life; he can only corrupt, and that's just one example of many. If you want to get religious, but Satan can only corrupt. It's in Lord of the Rings. Ada creates or Eru created Arda. He creates life. Well, Morgoth and then Sauron and whatever have you down the line, they cannot create. They can only corrupt. That's an allegory. So the same rules apply here in myth, where you see it a lot of times where goodness, say in Star Wars, is the Force, living force, cosmic force, is the creator. And the Sith now can only corrupt it. Well, the Sith have spent a millennia trying to find a way to bring this prophecy of the dyad into fruition. It cannot be created by them. That's why they've bastardized parts of the Force. That's why it's the opposite. It's the other end of the extreme. They cannot truly create anything. Only the Force can do that. And that's why it is said Ben and Rey are a dyad. They have not been seen in a millennia. This is not a relationship that has been seen. And why? It's because the Force created that. Even though Snoke said in The Last Jedi, oh, I did this. And then, of course, Sidious says the same thing. Well, because he was Snoke, whatever. Blah. Okay. So anyway, point being, that's a lie. That is a lie. It's not true because it's impossible. It's an impossibility in canon for a Sith to be able to create what is between Ben and Rey. That is entirely from the Force. And because it's not by accident that they wrote Exegol to be over this Virgin scatter, we're going to see Ben again. We are going to see him again because they wrote it in to work that way. Okay, I'm off. I'm done.
Well, and that's why I started as Secrets of the Sith. I mean,
Yeah.
Sidious keeps on saying, I'm going to form a dyad. That's the way to eternal life. Blah, 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 blah. And that's what the occultists are trying to do. And by the way, I forgot to say it, but Revan is mentioned in this book, so we have more canon. His name is just mentioned. It's one of the names that Dathan hears, but I will take it because it's more Revan. You know?
Yep. It is a gift.
What I was saying here is even though this is, like you said, a perversion of the dyad,
yep,
legend still has truth to it. So they know that there's eternal life and there's this idea of becoming one. And that's exactly what happened. Half of that happened at Exegol when Rey and Ben became one. You know, like finally they were working together as they saw in their force vision. They were not. They had oneness of mind. So, you know, he was using this for evil, but that's not, like you said, that's not how the Force works.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the trials and tribulations of reading this book as a Reylo. This is the one that flat out killed me. And before we'll just premise this before any of us Reylos get upset. Lou and I have proof of this retcon.
Yes, y'all, this is a straight up. Well, okay. Again, I did play a little bit of devil's advocate.
Yes.
It could be a straight up retcon, or it just could be a mirror. Get it? Because yeah, I'll let him explain it. But it could be a mirror, and it was said to Rey when she was little, but then it was said by someone else later on. It could be both, but so it's like everyone just needs to take a deep breath, and you know, there's a couple different ways to look at this.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we're just interpreting. We're not saying like this is fact.
Right.
You know, this is just an interpretation of this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Some people called me on me getting the name of the mask wearer. That, and I'm sorry. It's a lot of names, and sometimes I even forget my own, as Lou can testify. Those who know EU lore and stuff, feel free. Jesse, you made the correction in the comments, and I appreciate it. So just wanted to call myself out on that. But here we go. Here is the one that hurt my heart. Reylos, take a deep breath.
Mirror's voice was a whisper. Stay here. I'll come back for you. We'll come back for you, Rey. We need to go and do something. I'll come back, sweetheart, I promise. And Dad will be here too. We'll all be together again. You'll be safe here until then. I know Unkar shouts a lot, but he doesn't mean it. It's just how he is. But he'll keep you safe, I promise. I promise. Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Obviously, this made the rounds on the interwebs, and it was not received really well.
I don't know if it was or not. I didn't look into it.
From what I saw, it was not received very well.
Because it was not received well by me.
Oh, I know that.
So Ray,
I know that. So we could, like I said, we could look at this a bunch of different ways. The two that I'm seeing is, one, it's a straight up retcon, and fine, whatever. General audiences don't look at this, so it can stay in the book, and I'm just like, okay. Second option I have here, and I told this to Em, is yes, her mother said this to her, but what didn't they do? They did not come back for her. And that's, no fault of their own, but the point is, it didn't happen. The promise wasn't fulfilled. They did not come back for her. Then in the things that we're going to show now, Rey keeps hearing this voice, at least in novels. So this is just from a novel perspective right now. And Rey hears this voice, and she hears it in her dreams. There's never a figure to it, but every time she does hear it, and after one particular instance of hearing it, bam, we see Kylo Ren. So if it was meant to signify her parents in this moment, we would have gotten some type of, sign that it would have been parental. But no, all the signs that happened after that were Kylo Ren, were Ben. But this is the maturation journey, right? This is the heroine's journey to maturation, where her parents are dead. Well, in this story, who is going to heal her? Well, it's going to be the love interest. And I'm not saying that's for all stories. I'm saying it's for this story here. Who came back for her? Who saved her on Exegol? It was Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Ben answered that promise and fulfilled it for Rey. So, again, people can look at this how they want to, but I see it as, I hopefully the author bookended Rey's journey, where her parents said this to her when she was young, and then she ended her maturation journey with her love interest, who fulfilled the promise. So,
yeah. And here are some retcons because of the mother speaking it. Well, in the original script, it was a man's voice that said those lines, and that's according to one Pablo Hidalgo. So we know it wasn't a female voice,
right?
It was a male voice. We also have issues with some things being taken from the novel that shows that it was Kylo Ren. I mean, there's still stuff. Like, we made an essay where I looked at that phrase and I showed you every single time an occurrence it was stated in all three novels, adult and junior novel versions. And almost every single time it is used, it is connected to Ben Solo.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go and watch that. It's Binary Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come back to you, sweetheart, after The Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. We'll link it down below. It's not linked yet, but I'll link it down below. But there is one little passage that was in the Force Awakens book that now has been removed. Digitally.
Yes.
So here it is. Yeah. As you can see, it talks about, well, Lou, do you want to?
Yeah. So this was posted 5 years ago. So it's actually happening even before they were kind of making waves in the digital version, where Rey has the dream. Stay here. I'll come back for you, sweetheart. I promise. Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Rey shouted. Her eyes popped open, and she looked up about the walker, BB-8's dome light came on, illuminated, and yeah, she didn't see anything. As always, there was no figure to the voice. She's been haunted by a dream or a nightmare, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. This whole passage of this dream, posted on Reddit, Rey's mystery dream has been deleted from the junior novelization of The Force Awakens. It's no longer in the e-version or the digital version of the novel. And then this person on Reddit asked, so does this mean it's no longer canon? It still exists. Obviously, you have the tangible copy. I think it's still canon. I think it's still canon, and even if it's not, obviously, this was said to Rey in Shadow of the Sith. It doesn't negate what has happened. Her mother said it to her, and Ben fulfilled it.
Yeah.
So that's still the bookend. It's still, the promise has been fulfilled.
So. And those are the two occasions, one from the junior novelization.
Yes.
One from
the adult.
Mm-hmm. So you can look at that and make it of it as you will. Yeah. But I was pretty upset with that retcon. So, and I believe it is a retcon. Yes, as Lou said, you can play devil's advocate, and I see it from both perspectives. But for my own sanity, I'm going to see it as a retcon.
I think if it's looked at in that way, it can't be helped.
Yeah.
It can't be helped. I think it, lots of people in the chat are saying it is upsetting. And it is very upsetting. I'm choosing to look at it as Ben is the one who fulfilled it.
Right.
And that is never going to change. And that is general audience knowledge. So, yeah, Soul Crow goes, they didn't even change it. It was literally yeeted from the digital book.
It wasn't, it isn't, because it's still in the script.
Right.
It's still in tweets. Exactly. So that is a man's voice. So just the idea that it was the mother who said it.
It's now like the interwebs is forever, Yeah, like they can digitally remove it from a book, but those tweets still remain. Obviously, we just showed them. The passages still remain in tangible books and even screenshots of the digital stuff that people took. So people can only do so much. Interwebs are forever. Like, so yes, it was an important part of, especially Reylo's, obviously love for Reylo and Ben Solo. But it was said it was a man's voice in the script. So this book can retcon it, try to retcon it. Obviously things like that are blatant acts that kind of get laughed at because they're obvious. For me, I'm just trying to make it okay for me, where if just seeing what the author has done in this book period, to give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, I think he's trying to make it okay, to make it a bookend of the promise was fulfilled.
I have no problems with Adam Christopher, the author of this. I think he did a good job for what he was given. Just like I have no problems with Ray Carson, who wrote the novelization for The Rise of Skywalker. Like, they can't help that they have to work with canon. To me, it's just, I feel like this sounds rather dramatic, but I have no other word to explain it. But it feels like they're gaslighting Reylos. Because we have these theories, we have canon to prove it in The Force Awakens, and we're like, here, and then all of a sudden it goes missing.
It feels like they're still trying to make everyone happy.
Yes.
In their, trying to make Tross make sense kind of way. They're trying to appease everyone in the fandom, because obviously general audience is not going to read this. But they're trying to make Tross make more sense than it ever can.
And that's why I said it just needs to be left alone.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Just leave it alone.
Stop digging the hole, folks. Stop digging the hole. You're digging it deeper. Just stop digging. Just put the shovel down. You don't have to hold on to the shovel anymore.
Just move on. Like,
eat the shovel. Eat the shovel.
It's canon. We know it's canon.
But there's still hope, Em. And you just said you feel like, and we'll plug in the Reylo Minute right now, because then we can get to Reva. I feel like the Reylo Minute would be great now, because it really gives hope to your statement of, I feel like they're gaslighting us still.
Yeah.
But I think that is a really good transition into the Reylo Minute, because I think the Reylo Minute, and even the stuff we got in this book, is there's still hope that Ben Solo's coming back.
Yep.
And he and Rey are going to be together. So
there's eternal life, and there is oneness. I mean, to me, that's what I'm taking and running with this book. And that Luke allowed Ben to have his dark wavy hair wild and crazy like he was.
Wild and crazy hair.
Okay. Here we go.
It's time for your Reylo Minute.
All right. Reylo Minute, everyone, comes from Twitter. Good old followers sending us tweets and stuff still, even though we're not on Twitter. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thanks for keeping us in the know. At Star Wars AO 3 tags a couple days ago. AO meaning Archive of Our Own, because Reylo is like the most hottest thing on Archive of Our Own. Still, it's amazing. Wonder why. Anyway, tweeted, now by popular demand, a happy ending for these idiots, meaning Reylo. Star Wars official on Twitter goes, we're listening. We're listening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've deleted that. We're not on Twitter anymore. I don't think they have. I think it's still there. But point being, they can delete it all they want. But everyone in this freaking fandom screenshotted this, and it lives.
That's all that they can. Just like the nightmare passage where it connects it to Ben Solo, they can do all that they can do to cover their trails, but it remains. The internet is forever, Yeah. And we Reylos will smell it out.
Yep.
We have a ability to find what we need to find.
Miranda, idiots is just like happy ending for these idiots. Like they're idiots in love. Like, yeah, it's meant in kind of like a pokey fun jest. It's not like meaning they're real idiots. Just saying.
No.
Yeah. Star Wars, we're listening. I hope you're listening to us, Star Wars.
Yes.
Hope you're fans. Hope
Please.
yeah. We might have some harsh words, but all in all, we want our babies back together. Okay?
But we're also trying to support you, Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, what she said.
We are being positive about this book. So,
Soul Kroll and Phantom said it's still up.
Whoop! Well, there we go.
Yep.
Whoop, there it is.
I just need to wait.
What are you doing?
I'm sipping.
Okay.
I'm taking a sip. We're listening, sip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I wonder if that
is another sip.
I wonder if that's Star Wars, like the version of Family Guy where the little boy is like, Mom, Mommy, Mom, Mom. Star
Oh
Wars
yeah,
is
mum,
like, what?
mum, mummy, mum, mummy, mum, mother, mum. What? Right.
It's like, are you
Yeah.
listening? We're gonna say it until you do it.
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. Thanks, Star Wars. Hope you are listening. Hope it just wasn't, words.
Oh, here's Reylo memes. The official DC account responded to my comment on the Harley Quinn season 3 trailer and said, "Solid meme, Reylo."
Ooh, all right.
There we go.
We exist. Reylos exist. We are in mass numbers.
We are. Yep.
All right, this has been your Reylo Minute.
Yes.
This has been your Reylo Minute.
We're not finished, y'all. We still have to talk about this piece of news. Obi-Wan Kenobi killed off Reva in original script. Lou, I pronounced it correctly.
I was just going to say, I was holding it back. I was like, you said it right! Yes, Reva! Yes!
Yay! I feel like
That's it. End the stream. No. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look into this.
Okay. Oh.
Here we go. Deep breaths again.
In an exclusive interview with the Direct's Nathan Johnson, Obi-Wan Kenobi writer Stuart Beatty discussed the original plans for Reva's character arc in the draft for his Obi-Wan Kenobi film. When asked if Reva was in the early drafts of the movie script, Beatty said, "She was my creation. I created Reva all the way through." He continued by discussing Reva's view on the Jedi as villains and how the character originally had no knowledge of Anakin being Darth Vader. Quote, "Yeah, except the only little difference in mine was she didn't know Darth Vader was Anakin, because I was like, how'd she know that? All she saw was Anakin as Anakin because he hadn't changed in the suit yet, right? So Anakin killed her friends, put the scar on her, almost killed her, left her for dead, basically. So in her mind, the Jedi Council were the biggest villains in the galaxy. She believed the lies that they were plotting a coup to overtake and get power and all that, but they were stopped by the clones. So she believed that's why she's hunting Jedi, because she believed the Jedi are the worst, basically."
And which we said that she was projecting in the first episode. So yeah, yay for us.
Yeah. Beatty went on to talk about Reva's original fate, with the story ending with her dying at the hands of Vader in order to save Obi-Wan. Quote, "Because I figured, how would she know that this thing in a mechanical suit that everyone calls Darth Vader is the guy who killed her or tried to kill her? So it was Obi-Wan kind of letting her in on that secret and that revelation that makes her kind of go, oh my God, I've been wrong this whole time. And so she goes and basically saved Kenobi by sacrificing herself, telling Vader, I killed Kenobi. And then Vader killed her with her knowing that Vader would kill her. So that kind of completed her arc. So just a little bit different that she was, absolutely the Inquisitor hunting Kenobi all the way through and driven by her own personal demons," end quote. Beatty also mentioned that while he thought the third sister had a vital role to play in the story, he, quote, felt she had to die, end quote.
Yay.
Oh. I'm glad she lived, obviously.
Yes.
A lot of us are glad she lived. I can't, obviously he created the character, okay? So I can't truly knock him for his original ideas of her. Obviously, that idea changed, whether by his design or by the studio's design. Regardless, I can't fully knock someone for having a vision of a character that's his own creation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to like it, which I don't. Someone, like all that shit that happened to Reva, I wouldn't want her to die. I would want her to live, and I want her to start saving Jedi. We
Yep.
discussed that last week. But I can't knock him for having an original vision for an original character. It's just that's that'd be kind of silly. But I am glad they changed it. Like we discussed last week, there are a lot of different ways we felt her arc could have gone to make it a little more deeper and less clunky and chaotic.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh, I
but
like that alliteration,
oh,
Lou.
thanks very
That's very
much.
nice.
Clunky and chaotic.
Yes.
I all in all, I'm glad they didn't do this. I'm glad I'm glad we got what we got if it means she lived. If that
Yes.
makes sense.
I will say that your original idea is not always the best idea.
Right.
That's why authors revise, and I'm very glad that he revised, or the people who took his story revised, because, like you said, of her backstory.
Mm-hmm. Gold Spirit said Reva can be the one to help Cal Kestis avenge Trilla, the second sister. Because there's all these like rumblings and everything that we're gonna get a Cal Kestis show or something in some shape or form. I would love to see Moses Ingram back as Reva and going on that journey.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe that's a possible reason why she didn't die. Why her arc almost felt clunky is because they kind of reshot it for this to be the ending.
Yeah.
And so they can bring her back and give her kind of more of an oomph type of, thing. Who knows? I don't know. I like that. I like that Gold Spirit. Yeah.
Well, they said that there's a lot of rumors that there's a second season for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So maybe that is the second series, as we see Reva make amends for what she did.
Yeah. Joseph with a super chat. Thank you. I really hope this change was not influenced by the racist attacks against Moses. I hope this revision was made much earlier during the process. Open, you just did. As we were discussing, any story changes based on how certain fans would react is how we get peep like trust.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your super chats, Joe. Yeah, I'm whatever the reasoning behind their decision, I'm glad she lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad she lived. Hands down.
Yeah,
Hands
that's
down.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Any person with that backstory.
I almost don't like sorry. Like you
No,
were like
that's
mid-sentence. Oh my gosh.
that's okay. Go for it.
I almost don't like getting insider knowledge after the fact. Like, oh, this was the character's original outcome. Oh, this was that. Is I just almost feel it's a detriment to what we did get.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, obviously, in certain scenarios, it can be validating. It can be validating to content creators who have had theories and were bullied or like told, "Oh, you're dumber than a box of rocks," and gaslighted and things. Not naming any names. But I like, and then we hear stuff after the fact, and it's validating. I get that. Hearing things after is validating. But sometimes I'm just like, let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah.
Like let's just, we got what we got, and hindsight's 2020. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't I don't dig hearing stuff after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm just glad they changed it. So
Yes.
yay.
Yes.
Yay for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple of things going on in our in our schedule. Tomorrow, we start something brand new, Lou.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central on Stream Lounge. A lot of you have gone over there and followed us on Stream Lounge. Stream Lounge is an awesome, awesome platform that you can do watch-alongs of movies and shows. It's free. You just need a Mac or PC. And to download the Stream Lounge app, it's free because you're going off of streaming services. That's how you sign into the streams. To watch along with the hosts of the streams. So for this series, you would need Disney Plus for like the first 4 films and then Netflix for the last. But yeah, every other Sunday, starting tomorrow, July 3rd, we're doing a summer drive-in series. And our first film tomorrow is Flight of the Navigator. Then July 17th, we're doing The Sandlot, followed by July 31st with Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. August 14th is The Parent Trap, the OG from 1961. And August 28th, we are finishing up the summer driving series with My Girl. So we hope you can all join us. Our Stream Lounge link is in the description below. So click on that action. I know a lot of you have tablets and iPads and phones. They're working on it, but right now it's only desktop and laptop compatible. So, yeah. But it's going to be awesome. Obviously, none of this is Star Wars related, but we're just having fun. Like, grab some popcorn, grab some pizza rolls, grab, your favorite beverage of choice, and for a couple hours, we're just going to shoot the shit about some movies we freaking love and make me feel all summery goodness.
Yeah, these are the movies that we grew up with. Lou and I have wanted to do a series for a long time. Even, at the origin of Girls with Sabers a long time ago, where we wanted to talk about the books and the movies that made us, that formed us. And, and these were some of the movies that we watched as children, like Flight of the Navigator. My family and I would sit down and watch that every July 4th. I mean, that was like that was something that we would do. So these were movies that we watched, and I'm just repeating myself. So yeah, watch along with us, and maybe you'll be introduced to a new classic.
Yep. Joseph Michael with a super chat. Thank you. M, did you finally watch The Green Knight?
I haven't. I need to. I've been I've been trying to keep watching things that are upbeat.
Yeah, we've been definitely M has been trying to keep it light.
Yeah.
The Green Knight is not light at all. So it might be a little while longer, Joe, but we're trying to keep things pleasant around here.
Yeah.
Not saying it's not good, because I heard it was good.
Oh yeah,
but I heard it was very heavy,
and I just don't need that right now. So yeah, we're just. I will, Joe, and I'll let you know what my thoughts are. So
thanks for all the super chats, Joe. One last thing before we head out. We got new merch, y'all. We showcased it last week, but TeePublic's having another sale through Monday, and just so y'all know, we got new merch. The Blue Butterfly Agenda. Everything in the store is up to 35% off. Pew pew, get it now. Yeah, first sale of the month, and we got some other of our awesome designs. Tons of Reylo designs, tons of Ben Solo designs, and if you want to see our beautiful faces, these two right here, you can get some of that too. Both our logos. Tons of other content creators are in there. Blue Bantha Milk, Gwendy85, Rebel Scum Podcast, Broaxium, Isotonic, Followers of the Force is in there.
Wendy 85.
I said Wendy.
Oh, you did? I'm
Yep,
sorry.
that's okay.
My bad.
Panda Cappuccino. Yeah. Like, check it out. Check it out. I know people are looking to make their own gasoline at home nowadays, but you know, if anyone has any extra doll hairs to spare, stores on sale.
Yeah.
Link in description.
Joseph Michael says, if we watch the OG Parent Trap, we also need to watch the 1998 version with Lindsay Lohan. So many memories. I like that version, but I don't have it associated with summer.
Exactly.
Like that.
Joe, thank you so much for your super chat.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
the OG version and that version don't correlate well with me. So
Yeah.
I grew up with that, and I literally saw that at a drive-in. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
I really want to
I also don't like
watch.
Lindsay Lohan. That's a whole deep rabbit hole. I'm sorry. So yeah, not going there. But thank you for your super chat.
I really want to watch Belle. Again, I'm keeping it light and fluffy for a while, and then hopefully I will venture off into the heavy stuff soon.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you to our moderators. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Saturday night during the U.S. holiday weekend. And yeah, that's what we got.
Yes, we hope you join us tomorrow.
Yes.
To watch Flight of the Navigator. And anything else we need to say before we sign off, Lou?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. All of our links are in the description below. Facebook, Instagram, Stream Lounge, as we said, our
Patreon
merchandise, Patreon. So yeah, may the force be with you. Peace, love, and Reylo, and
Ben Silla lives.
Eternal life.
Yes, it's very passionate.
On Exegol.
Bye-bye. May the force be with you. Oh.